Okay, testing, testing, testing. Okay, are we live? Okay, on your mark, get set, go. Good afternoon, y'all. This is the man in the black mask. I had to take off yesterday. So, but I'm back now, okay? And I heard the best news ever. Donald Trump becomes the first Prez to be double impeached in U.S. history. Now, this is a very good topic, man. I gotta admit, I can't even begin to tell you how fantastic to see that shit happen to him, son. I gotta admit, though, I had the best time of my life, son. I knew that this day was gonna come. He was an accident waiting to happen. His presidency was an accident. Let me put it to you that way, okay? What did he ever do for black America, huh? Instead, he helped his own crew. He didn't do nothing to help us, but he did a lot to help his crew. And even with the insurrection. And now he wants to denounce violence. Well, he should have thought about that before he had his people storm the Capitol. I mean, don't you think? Don't you think this fart face should have had a better tone before this shit happened? I mean, think about it. Think about that fuck and what he didn't do for all of us. Something that Joe Biden will do for us. He will fight for us. Trump didn't do nothing for us, but he did everything for his people. He is who I call a traitor and a genocidal maniac. Y'all understand? He ain't shit. Everything we went through, ranging from, you know, the Hillary shit, the government shutdowns, him fucking with Barack Obama, and him having to release his birth records just so that Trump could leave the man the fuck alone, you know? And then you have this pandemic and everything else, and then the insurrection at the Capitol. I mean, he was just a mess, son. And this double impeachment should serve as a reminder that people like him should never be allowed to run for office. That he should never rerun in 2024 or 2028. Because how can we forget about the shit you put us through? Even after this pandemic expires, you think we're going to forget it? Do you think for one fucking second that we're going to forget this pandemic? No way. I know I'm not. I mean, the guy's a piece of shit. How can you root for a racist traitor like that? And I knew, Mike Pence and Rudy Giuliani was in on it too. And Mitch McConnell. They was all in on it, on the uprising. They was all to blame. And Mike Pence, Trump's little pussy tomboy, was never going to sign up on the impeachment. But guess what? He didn't have to. The Democrats did. And some of his own people turned on him too. If I was a Republican, let me tell you, I would have did the same shit. I would have sacrificed my own party for the other in terms of doing the right thing. Why? Because I'm in pursuit of the truth. That's why I will do the right thing. It's not about partnership. It's about truth. Truth, justice, and the American way. Because this female Republican, I forgot her name, she said she was in it for the truth, which is why she sided with the Republican Party. No, the Democratic Party, sorry. She's Republican, but she sided with the Democrats in terms of impeaching Trump. And Nancy Pelosi once branded Donald Trump as a clear and present danger to America. Something to that degree. I agree with Nancy. Fucking Nancy wanted to see his ass driven out of office. And so did Chuck Schumer. So did everybody else, including the rest of us. He delivered poison to this country. And that poison I'm talking about is not only racism, but also the pandemic. Okay? He is political poison. What kind of a chance did we have with a piece of shit like Donald Trump? And trust me, let me tell you something. If Donald Trump was standing here before me, right, guess what I'll do? Bam! I'll break his motherfucking jaw, son. You hear me? I'll kick his fucking punk ass. Robert De Niro once said he wanted to punch Donald Trump in the face. And I couldn't agree with De Niro more. He's one of my favorite actors. So he makes a good raging bull. And trust me, he would have raging bulled the shit out of Donald Trump. Trust me when I tell you. Just like I would. Listen, I'll fuck his ass up in a second, son. And guess what? His businesses are shutting down too. They're disassociating themselves from Trump because they don't want to finance crime. And I agree. And I did try to tell you in some of his videos, some of my videos, by the way, that he might have gotten some of that money illegally. Yeah, but he committed some crimes while in office. And before he took office, too. That's how he got some of that money, too. So that's how I knew he was not a legit businessman. If anything, he was a fraud and a Ponzi schemer, just like Bernard Madoff was. I mean, look how many lives he ruined because of this bullshit. His own family don't give a fuck about him, let alone Mary, Donald's niece. She even wrote a book about that dude, too. And I want to read it someday, too. I'm going to request it at the library and read what Mary had to say, because a lot of that stuff is not going to be good about Donald. And I'm sure when I think about people like Donald Trump and Giuliani and Mike Pence and Mitch McConnell, I think of some of our friends and family that are narcissistic pieces of shit in a way, you know? Don't y'all agree? What good was he ever to us? He was no good to us. That's why he shouldn't have ran. And instead of Hillary running, Joe Biden should have ran back then. Because trust me, he'd have killed Trump. Just like he did last year. 2 months ago, to be precise. But I'm glad Biden came out of retirement just to challenge that piece of shit Trump. I mean, he was just no fucking good, man. He was like acid in your brain. You know? That's what I think. I think he got acid in his brain. And that COVID crazied him up some more. Because had he not got COVID, son, I don't know what would have happened. First he gets COVID, then Giuliani gets COVID, and now, because of him, we got a bigger pandemic now because of the siege at the U.S. Capitol. I mean, how the fuck you explain some shit like that? I knew when the insurrection happened that the super spreader was going to get high, that the numbers are going to double again, if not triple, because some of the Congress people had tested positive for COVID. And guess who's at fault? Donald Trump. It was his fault, man. It was his fucking fault. He did all this, son. He spread the cancer. And he spread the fire, and it's still burning to this day. And we've yet to put it out. But that all needs to change, because Biden is taking over in a few days, and I guarantee those fires are going to start burning themselves out slowly. And Biden is going to help us put out those fires. You don't fuck with Joe Biden. So Joe Biden, thank you for voting that piece of shit out. Meanwhile, Trump got a lot of fucking nerve to send his people to attack the U.S. Capitol just because we voted that piece of shit out. We had to. We had no fucking choice. What was he going to do for us? What chance did we have with him? And several people are dead because of it. And the body count may go up even higher, too, because there's another siege that's supposed to take place at the U.S. Capitol, if not the 50 states, including ours. But these cops, man, they're ready. They got all the guns in the fucking world. You know, I've seen on TV how the military cops was lined up at the U.S. Capitol, you know? And they had Rambo-style guns, okay? You all seen Sylvester Stallone in those Rambo movies when he has that AK-47 or some other machine gun? Yeah, armed and ready for action. Insurrection Act of 1807. He was no fucking good. I agree with Pelosi with her saying that he's a clear and present danger. Trump failed to do the right thing by America, and he fell from grace. And he fell hard, son. He fell. He's a disgrace to the human race. And I sure hope that when he's booted out of office, that his fat ass goes straight to prison. But me, I prefer a bullet to the head. A bullet to the head will stop any fucking body, don't you think? Aha. I'm not trying to preach violence, but I'm just saying. Whatever happened to Kennedy, the same thing can happen to Trump. Because he hurt a lot of people. He even hurt us. With his racist rhetoric and everything else. With his bizarre, outlandish tactics. He's a fuckhead. You understand? Come on, man. You think I would really vote for that piece of shit? Seriously? You think I would risk everything to vote that fucker in office? I wouldn't. But if Kamala Harris runs, I will vote for her. Because she's lovely. Okay? Kamala Harris, she's a warrior. She's a steel magnolia. Yes. Harris is a steel magnolia. Donald Trump is an ugly magnolia. Uh-huh. Yeah, he's an ugly magnolia. He's uglier than hell. He's like the ugliest president that we ever had. The ugly dickling or the ugly fuckling. All these slice it. Yeah. Oh, that boy, man. He don't know how to run a country. He don't know nothing about America. He's just country. He just got in office because he wanted all the power. He wanted all the juice. He wanted all the glory. Well, guess what? It all got shoved up his ass. Twice, man. Twice impeached. So he will be the only ever former sitting president to be double impeached. Feel the double impact, you piece of shit. And die in pain. Like the miserable piece of cat shit that you already are. Now, how do you feel about that? He is no good, okay? He was the worst thing that ever happened to America. In fact, he should go back to his fucking tribe where he belongs. The ugly dickler should go back to his neck of the woods and just stay there and leave us the fuck alone. We don't want you. We don't need you no more. You are done. We want Biden and we want Harris. We don't want that piece of shit Trump. And why do we? Why should we? All his promises just got us either killed or locked up. Think about how many of us, men, women, and children, that are either dead or behind bars. Okay? He wanted minorities to suffer for God knows whatever reason. And he's a stanch supporter of the Jim Crow law. Because we're in the Jim Crow day right now. We are in that era. It resembles slavery, you know? We still feel like slaves inside. And that needs to stop. We want our life back. We got to take our life back. That's why we voted for Joe Biden, so that we could take back our lives and not be fucked around no more. I mean, life is too important. How can we lose it so tragically just because this one piece of shit don't give a fuck about the Black Lives Matter movement? But yet he gives a fuck about the Make America Great movement. I mean, seriously? I think the definition of Make America Great means kill every black person in the country. And that's what Trump is up for. He's up for mass genocide among black people. And now that he killed 2 police officers at the U.S. Capitol, they still yet to lock his ass up for murder. But it's all going to change. Because now his people that he threw under the bus are probably going to cut deals and testify against him, which I hope they do. Trump threw his own fucking people under the bus. I mean, who does that? When I think of Donald Trump, I think of John Gotti. You know, what he did to Gravano. Until Gravano had enough, threw his fucking ass under the bus. Put his ass away for life. I know y'all remember the 1992 John Gotti trial. Well, Donald Trump is next. He'll be ratted on. Because when people like that, all it takes is a snitch that is not ready to come forward and spill the beans and put his dumb ass away for the rest of his life, so that he can die a miserable old piece of shit that he is, alone in a steel cage. That's where he belongs. He should not be walking our earth. He's a thief, he's a liar, he's a criminal, and he's a stone cold killer. He is nothing to us. If he really and truly gave a fuck about Black America, he should have passed laws that protected us instead of the ones that abused us. And he should have helped us get out of COVID jail, which is what we're still in right now. Okay? We will not live in fear of one another. We must not. We must keep fighting. Our fight is getting started, and we won't rest until we win. And when Biden takes off this Wednesday, everybody wins, including us. America wins. And Donald Trump, word to Jordan Peele, get out. Get the fuck out. You ugly piece of shit. Cat piss drinking fucking bastard. Enjoy your double impeachment. You are a dead man walking. Dead man down, baby. Dead man down. Trump goes down in flames. He goes down in history as the most disgraceful president ever to take head office. He should have never been allowed to do so. They should have examined his goddamn head before they allowed him to take office. So yeah, the 25th Amendment, baby. That's what it sounds like, the 25th Amendment. And there's a lot of meanings to that. That means any sitting president, whether it's a male or a female, that is found to not be competent enough to execute his or her presidential duties, should not be allowed to take office. You understand? That person either has a mental or physical disease or defect and is too challenged to run the country. And Trump is one of them, okay? He obviously, his head has been warped so badly that he neglected us in ways we've never been neglected before. I mean, that is worse than childhood trauma. I'm sure a lot of us have had some degree of childhood trauma, including Trump. But he had no excuse for doing what he did. Okay, what he did was just murder. This goes beyond abuse. But this goes above murder. Okay? Everything he did was murder, including the U.S. Capitol. And he did all this just to overthrow the democracy as well as the U.S. government. He wanted revenge for us voting him out. And guess what? It backfired. It didn't help him none. It didn't do nothing for him except get him in more trouble and get him double impeached. That's all the fuck it ever did. I mean, don't y'all agree? And I'm glad it happened. In fact, I fucking laughed when I saw the coverage on Eyewitness News. I'm glad the devil is getting his due. I mean, this was a long time coming, man. Don't y'all agree? This was the kind of punishment that he needed. He needed to be punished. I mean, he didn't do nothing for us except cause trouble and spread the cancer. He left it for the next people to do the job for him. And Joe Biden, he's definitely going to cure the cancer. He's going to get us out of this shithole once and for all. He wants us to wear our masks for like 100 days. So I'm really and truly hoping that Biden will do the right thing for us. Because Trump didn't do that, man. And I sure hope that once he leaves office, if he hasn't already, that I don't talk about him no more unless he's either dead or in jail. That's the only time I'll talk about him again. But I'm ready to move on once his ass is gone. So gone, baby, gone. With the win. Home run, baby. I'm glad the Democrats hit that home run and they joined forces with the Republicans that got tired of his Trump piece of shit ass. I'm very happy that they banded together to seek truth, justice, and the American way. Partnership always helps. Now I see why partnership is very important in terms of getting things done, let alone getting Trump impeached. Okay? For the second time in a row. He didn't learn his lesson from the first impeachment, which if he did, then I'm sure we might have forgiven him. But he didn't learn his lesson. He did not give a fuck about nobody but himself and his money. Now, I really hope that this ends the Trump presidential legacy. But we also got to be on the lookout that Trump Jr. might run for president at some point and continue in his father's footsteps. We got to be on the lookout for that. Never say never. Now, that concerns me a lot, as much as Andrew Giuliani wanting to run for mayor, because his fucking father, Rudy Giuliani, he was mayor. And a lot of shit happened under his mayoral leadership, including us being killed and locked up and all that. The system being so inherently fucked up in God knows how many ways. And Trump fucked us up beyond normal, son. I don't think we'll ever be able to get out of this shit. Well, we'll get out of the pandemic, but mentally, I'm sure y'all heard of post-traumatic stress disorder. And there's going to be a big surge in PTSD and anxiety diagnoses, too. The mental illness, you can expect that to be on the rise, too, because of this pandemic and the stresses that it brought, such as us being confined in our own homes like children, And I gotta admit, the kids failing in school and all that, them killing themselves and some such. And I gotta admit though, he did a lot of shit to this America. So America will never be the same after this. First ground zero, and now this pandemic, which has killed more people than 9/11. This makes 9/11 look like a flash in the pan, right? Even though it isn't. 9/11 did happen. It did happen. Just like this pandemic. And so did Trump. He happened in the worst possible way. So at least we're going to get our lives back in a few weeks. Wear a mask for 100 days, according to Joe Biden. Joe Biden, thank you. Donald Trump, fuck you. You understand? Fuck you. Why don't you go fuck yourself, you fat, ignorant piece of shit? Dead man down, baby. Dead man down. It's almost over. Keep your fingers crossed, my fellow Americans. My people, I am rooting for you. I'm rooting for you to please help us fight this thing. The man in the black mask is here for you, but at the same time, you got to be here for him too. So, thank you for listening, right? Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and drop a question underneath the screen, and tell me what you think about this classic crash and burn. You know, Donald Trump. That's what he is, crash and burn. And I want to hear your comments too, and I want to hear your questions. I want to hear your opinions. Okay? I want to hear from every one of you. So, good luck, be well, and have a good day. Thank you.